Are we rolling? We're good?
Yeah, that's all making it too.
All right, welcome back to the BotchPod. The BotchPod. The BotchPod. The BotchPod. The worst podcast in the world. All right.
Whenever you want to
Welcome back to the BotchPod, the worst podcast in the world. Today, we have Nick Denman.
Hi, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me. Really
Welcome.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. We were just talking, and we just got interrupted because the cameras are live, and we don't have a sound guy today. So Dan's the sound guy and the co-host.
The sunglasses guy, because I can't let him know how drunk I am. Right
I know.
now.
Hold on. I'll join you for a little bit.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's something makes you feel a little more invincible when you've got the
does,
sunglasses
it does.
on. You know.
I know. I feel naked now.
I've been having a couple brews all day, so like we need
A couple brews all day.
like,
crazy.
that's spaced out. You know.
Exactly.
Let's not bow to our sponsors, though.
Yeah. Shout out White Claw if you guys are watching. Anybody from White Claw or anybody that knows White Claw, please
Send
this
you
clip.
money.
Send this clip. Yeah, send us money and a lot.
They don't sponsor podcasts, bro.
Nobody wants to sponsor this.
All right, so Nick, for the people that don't know you,
Yeah, sure.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Nick Denman. I'm a novelist, a filmmaker, actor. I'm from the Buffalo area. Grew up in Angola and Eden, and I'm back here trying to make movies and TV shows basically, and that's what I do.
I saw the clip recently.
Which one? 'Cause
You were
I've been posting a few of them.
Buffalo. It was in Buffalo, and it was kind of like the mafia thing.
Sure.
What was that?
Yeah, that's For Nothing. It's actually
Nothing, yes.
I wrote a book about the mafia. It's a fictional novel, but it kind of has some historical elements. If you're from here, you know, right? Everybody knows somebody who was like in the mafia or their great uncle or somebody. So I wrote a book about that and about an assassin in this fictional crime family, and over time. I kind of got tired of just like having a book out there, and I was like, what if I turned it into like a TV show? Because I was acting at the time and stuff.
So what year did you write the book?
Yeah, I wrote it in I want to say 2009, the first one, and then the second one, because there's a sequel in 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got a third one, but I'm holding on to it until the show comes out because.
Smart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm about halfway done writing that, and so we decided to make a TV show, and that's the clip that you saw. Stars Michael Madsen, Daniel, and Billy Baldwin, Robert Miano. If you've ever seen Donnie Brasco, he's Sonny Red, and of course Michael Madsen was Sonny Black in Donnie Brasco.
Gotcha.
So we've got like a lot of cast members from like those throwback Hollywood, mafia crime thrillers, and they're coming to Buffalo. They stayed at the A-Loft for about 30 days, and
cool.
Yeah.
So what goes into that? Like, I mean, obviously you wrote the books.
Sure.
That's a lot of work. But what goes into turning that book into a show?
I
know it's a lot.
There's no like paint by numbers, and I wish there was, because it would have been so much easier. But basically, what goes into it is tenacity. I would say would be the first thing. When you write a script, nobody cares. And, you're like, I wrote this script. I wish somebody would read it, and nobody cares because they don't know you. So basically, you have to kind of find your tribe of people that support you and will push the effort forward. And so, I linked up with a guy named Thomas Humphreys, who's a screenwriter in the UK, a small town called Ebu Vale in Wales, and he had read the book. And he was like, can I take a stab at turning this into a screenplay? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So, I met him on Twitter, and we became like friends for like life. I went to his wedding and all sorts of stuff over there. And so he took a stab at writing it, and we ended up turning it into a TV show. And I found another screenwriter named, I gotta say everybody's name so they don't get offended, but Sean Gloria, who helped me, turn that initial screenplay, which was actually for a film, into a television pilot screenplay. So the three of us together, really hammered it out, and we said, now what do we do? We've got a script, and what we ended up doing was going to our friends and family and saying, look, I've got this dream. To like make a pilot, and then try to sell that pilot and create a television show in my hometown. And we got a director named Stephen Quach and his family and my family and Sean's family and Tom's family kind of all came together and our friends, and we raised like $160,000, and we just flew out. We signed cast, we signed Michael Madsen, we signed Daniel Baldwin. They read the scripts, they loved it, they wanted to help push it forward. Daniel Baldwin jumped on as an executive producer, so you had the weight of the Baldwin family behind it, you know, and so they all came here, and you know, over a period of, you know, like I said, like 30 days, it was pandemonium. We were over in Lakeview filming at my cousin's house, you know, up against 18 Mile Creek. We were at Tony's Go-Karts, you know, over there on 5.
Yeah, right on 5.
Yeah, and, you know, we were over across the street, basically, over at Lucky Day Whiskey Bar, down in the basement and in the alley back there filming stuff. So we basically just went all over town, you know, gathering locations, gathering people, getting the cast in, and then we made something that we think is pretty cool. And, you know, we were fortunate enough that we got it all filmed out, like, right when COVID was starting to become a thing. And so we basically got the last cut, and then next thing you know, 2 years later, we're at the Cannes Film Festival, like, you know, just like last month, and you know, shopping it around to major distribution, you know, networks and broadcasters and things like that, so we can come around and make the next 9 episodes here.
Right. No, that's cool. Like it's like a super organic. Like I feel like every movie and every TV show has that organic upbringing, but being from Buffalo and filming it in Buffalo is more of like it's just more of a special feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you said you met. I'm sorry, I don't remember. You threw out a lot of names. And I understand. I understand. Believe me, I do. But the guy from England, what's his name?
His name's Thomas Humphreys.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the original person who was like, "Hey, maybe we could turn this into like a motion picture."
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you met him through Twitter?
Yeah.
Really? That's crazy. So you never met him in person before that. He was willing to give you the chance.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And so he had just graduated from the Met in London for writings, for screenplay writing. And, you know, he happened to have his parents had a villa in Haines City, which is about, you know, 60 minutes down the road from Tampa, where I'm at when I'm not here. And he was in town for like the summer, and we had been like texting through Twitter about this idea of the screenplay, and he's a hilarious dude, so he makes me laugh, and you know, we just, you know, send memes and stuff, and we became friends. And like, you know, let me rewind and tell you a little story. The first time I met him, as I was getting ready to leave my house, there was a dead bird on the ground. And so I thought it would be hilarious to take the dead bird and put it in a shoebox and poke holes in it like it was alive, and then and bring it to him. And so I drove this dead bird 60 miles in my trunk because I didn't want to sit next to it, and got out of the car to bring it to this guy who's never met me, who's writing a screenplay based on my books, who's from another country. And I walk up with this. I go, I've got you a gift. And he looks at me and he goes, "It better not be a dead bird."
No.
And I was like, "What the fuck, bro?" Yeah. Like I was so proud of myself, and he like undid like my entire drive of stuff, you know, my scheming, my plotting. I thought I was hilarious, and I was like, you know what?
How many miles did you drive?
60, 65. Yeah.
So those 65 miles, however long it was, you're thinking like,
I'm gonna get him.
I'm gonna get him. And then as soon as you get there, it better not be a dead bird. It's not even like a dead animal. He nailed it to the exact T of what it was.
He knew the animal. He knew the animal.
He had eyes on you from the time you landed.
He knew.
He is creepy. He probably was watching me or something. Yeah.
So now like the whole like with him, like the whole like your relationship has obviously grown. Obviously
Sure,
now
yeah.
that you've gotten to this point and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like I think like the biggest relations you make is stuff like that.
Yeah, accidental, you know, and you just got to be open to like the different energies that people bring into your world. And you know, he's a great dude, great writer, phenomenal talent, and he's in a place where nobody would ever discover that kind of talent. Like I said, Ebu Vale, Wales, you know, I mean, like its population probably 2,000 or something in the hills, and you know, but he's very talented, and he kind of kickstarted the whole concept of like, you know, maybe we could put this medium together where it's going to be on, like you said, like a motion picture,
Right.
or something, and then you kind of go down the road a bit. And we kept getting told by people like, nah, this is too violent. It's too violent. We can't make it. It's too violent. And this just shows you how the landscape has shifted in like the last decade. But, you know, back then they were like, no, it's too much blood, because like there's so many people die in my book. So many.
No, I
so
like
many
that
people.
though. Like I just said good. Like
Yeah, good. I hope they
seriously,
all
like,
die.
I enjoy that shit. Like that's important. Like I feel like.
What's your
like,
favorite TV series of all time? Sorry.
Of all time, oh man. I mean, you know, I'm gonna be lame, I guess, and just kind of throw it up with like it's either a combination of Sopranos and Walking Dead. Like I really enjoy it.
His all-time favorite. I already know him. I've known him for like 3 years now.
Mm.
I already know his number one.
Well,
Sopranos.
backstory. I was in college.
Mm.
All I had was HBO.
Yeah.
Right. Watched fucking everything on HBO.
Yes.
Sopranos was my favorite. Watched it 5 times over.
So The Sopranos is like so much in my mind. It's ridiculous. Like today I was driving down the road and there was like a ditch on the side of the road, and I just was like, when you drive around, especially like towards like Angola and stuff, like a lot of those fields have stories about a car was found in it and some guy was in the trunk, and that's the field where that happened. Yeah. And as I was driving down the road, kind of thinking of that thought and looking at the ditch, I just had that flashback to that scene in Sopranos where Tony and Chris kind of get in that little bit of an accident, and Tony pinches his nose to kill his nephew. Yeah. And he just doesn't let him breathe. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Sopranos. This far ahead. He's got a lot of nephews, so you don't know which one.
I haven't seen it yet. I do plan on doing that, but
yeah.
So being from Angola and everything, like, give me a rundown because I'm not too familiar with everything that you've done to get where you are today. And like today, like you're on the BotchPod. But I mean,
where else would I rather be?
I love that.
I mean,
the Hyatt.
I mean, yeah, that's where I was. I was chilling at the Hyatt for a bit.
Fly. But just give me like a rundown, like how you got to where you are today, and all the efforts it took from different like. I mean,
all the
him
different
and I know
people.
how it is, and like all the guests we have on, it's tough. It's not an easy road. It seems like it's easy, but just give me a rundown on like how you got to where you are today and what you've done and stuff like that.
Sure. I mean, you know, obviously, it starts with for me, it started with like education. You know, so I went to the University of Florida and got an English degree that I never used. I was like working for the man, all these corporate jobs, and I was like, I didn't go to school for this, and I don't like it. So what am I going to do? And right around when Nooks and ebooks kind of became a thing, I started writing. I had started writing my novel maybe like the year before that, and so I was like, well, I'll just write the best damn book that I can write, and I'll use my degree and apply it that way. Something I could control. It was late at night after work. I just everyone's asleep, and I'm just writing. Me and my thoughts. It took me almost like a year to write the first book, and. Once I finished it, I was like, what do I do now? Like with the script, that's a common theme in entertainment, by the way. It's like just because you create, it's like one of the only things in the world where you can create a product and you have no recourse to like how are you going to sell it. Like if you create a pair of shoes, you put it online, and a bunch of people, somebody's going to buy that shoe. You create a screenplay, you created a book, a novel. Who cares? So you've got to go to like these purveyors and try to convince them that you're worth the effort to put it on the shelf. You know what I mean? But you only have like the one thing. so it's a pain. And I was like, now what? I've got this book. So I actually did the whole route that everybody tells you to do. Go to literary agents, go to write a query letter, tell them what you've got, and see if they'll represent you. And then they're the gatekeepers into the publishing houses. And if you do that, then you might get there. And if you get there, then they might chop your book up, and then they might sell it. And I was like, oh man, that sounds like a lot. And I did it, and I kept getting denied. I got denied 100 times, maybe 200. I kept every single one of those fucking emails of them telling me I'm not good enough. And I was like, fuck you. Anyway, so all of a sudden, ebooks become a thing. You could put your own book out there. I was like, well, that's interesting. I go, well, you know what? I'm tired of this game. I'm just going to throw it up on the internet, on Amazon, on the Kindle, and on the Nook, and see what happens. I was like, if I sell 10 or 15 books, well, at that point I'm part of the lexicon. They can never take that away from me. I've sold 10 books, and I'm out there, and I've done it. And a crazy thing happened. I sold like 200,000 books. Like it just kept selling and selling and selling.
Wow.
And it was because it wasn't I like to think it's because I'm an amazing writer, but I really think it was timing. It was like the ebooks became a thing. If you had a cheap price point, people were just buying and downloading the books and taking flyers on it. And all of a sudden it was just like timing meets struggle,
Yeah.
And at that point it took off and took a life of its own. It was like, you do all that effort rolling it uphill, and then you get to the top, and you get to let it drop and see what happens. And sometimes it grows, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it falls apart before it hits the bottom.
So it's like a classic example of like almost like lightning strikes in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You took advantage of your opportunities in front of you, and you just knew how to take advantage of it. Like because I'm like. Hearing that and thinking about it, like it's not something him and I probably regularly think about, like when it comes to movies or books or screenwriting or anything. I'm sure there's a million movies out there that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And if they were to be produced, they'd be amazing.
Sure.
But they just don't have the right pickup or anything, and maybe the person writing it isn't the best storyteller to produce that, but the story itself
It's good.
is great, and that shit, 200,000, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to date, I'm like at $500,000 for both, books combined, and it was just, it was like fortune meets fate and struggle. Like I said, it's just, I was very fortunate, and through that, so I had a #1 bestseller in the UK, I had a #1 bestseller in the US.
Wait, you did #1 bestseller in the UK and the US?
Yeah, for ebooks, especially for the crime thriller genre.
Really?
So, yeah. I kept all the photos of like me being #1.
That's solid.
Yeah, and thank you, I appreciate it. But like I said, it was like, it's not like because I'm amazing. It's like timing and stuff.
Right.
And so my buddy, though, because it was selling in the UK, he read it, right? And so because that happened, I met that guy who's like my best friend now, and like I said, I went to his wedding over there. Wore a kilt in a castle. This guy.
Dude from Angola/Eden.
Yeah, flies to the UK. Yeah, I'm like at a bar there, and a guy comes up and knows who I am, and it's kind of surreal, like some of the things that can happen when you have that opportunity that happens for you. And anyway, so I met him, and then I met Sean, the guy who took it from that concept with me to a television show in an acting class. I was kind of like this kid, like just starting out in acting. It was about 6 years ago, and I was like, this guy's really good. He's a really good actor. Like I want to know him so I can become better. And I introduced myself to him, and he was like, he bought my book and read it, and I told him my vision, and he was all about it. And between Sean and Tom and myself, we had a pilot episode that we wrote.
So you really had like no intentions on being an actor. Like you were dead set on being a writer at first.
Yeah. So the thing about me is I like variety in almost all things, right? So as a writer, I enjoyed that process. I still enjoy it. I still write screenplays and novels, but when I get to a certain place, I want more. And I'm like, well, I'm telling stories, so I've had a #1 bestseller. That's pretty cool. What's the next thing that I can do? And so I was like, well, I've always wanted to be an actor. I'd done like a Guys and Dolls play, in high school, and I remember that rush of being in front of a crowd and people applauding and stuff. And I was like, I haven't done that since, really. And so I set out to see what I could do. And I went to this little studio in St. Petersburg, Florida, called Andy Matheny Acting Studio, and I met so many connections, got an agent through that, and then next thing I know, I'm acting, and I'm in a Lionsgate release, for a movie called Wolfhound, opposite of James Maslow, where he actually, I don't want to give you the spoiler, but I share the screen with James Maslow, who's like from Big Time Rush and all that.
Yep.
And then I did a Showtime TV series called American Rust with Jeff Daniels and Morna Tierney. So, you know, I've had like just little opportunities that happen because you just go for things, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Take the risk, and you never know who you're going to meet in the meantime. And
that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are laying it out there, and
yeah, we're just going for it. Literally.
I mean, yeah, I
We're
mean,
just
like
sending
real recognizes real. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you guys are doing it, and like that's why I tune in and listen. You know,
No, yeah, 100%.
keep them
Like,
coming,
it's a-
boys. Beer me,
You
beer
need
me.
one?
Need one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my guy, that's what I'm talking about. It's not often we get a podcast guest that needs
Drinks more than one.
It's awesome. No, seriously.
I love it.
Usually, like, they're only sipping on one, so the fact that you even took another.
Dan will have his case down by the end of the episode.
Yeah, you can't
That's
dress
facts.
like this and have one White Claw.
Facts.
I look like Pelvis Presley.
Elvis Presley. I like that. I like that. All right, so let's talk about that quick then. Like, where's the inspiration come from? The whole like style of yourself. Like you showed up mad flashy to just a simple podcast.
He's got a party after.
Yeah, I got a party.
you got a
after.
party
Yeah,
after?
my,
Oh, I
my,
didn't
my
know
boy
that.
my boy at Meech_James over on Grand Island is throwing a hell of a red and white party, and I've got to go there.
And you going as
immediately.
red.
Yeah, I'm going as
And
red.
a little bit of silver.
I had a white shoe.
You got the white shoe.
Look at that flash.
Oh shit, bro! I swear to God, I've never owned a pair of them shoes in my life.
This
Those
first
are
pair,
too fancy for me.
These came by Amazon like a week ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
They're-
dope though. They look good. You look good. I mean, you pulled up. I'm like, oh my God. I haven't. I like usually like people like try to snazz themselves up for like pops and stuff like that. But like,
Let's give
I
you
mean,
a show.
I would say like, no, props to you. So real quick, I have to do it.
Sure.
I have to do it. Listen. So the people maybe watching the podcast don't understand, but you and I have a few mutual friends.
Oh.
We need to talk about how you met Woody. Woody, shout out. I know you want to get shouted out on the pod.
You're talking about
Woody,
my boy Woodrow.
Woodrow. I know he wants to get shouted out on the pod. He wants to be on the pod. He wants to do everything. He was going to be here today, but work comes first.
Well, the thing is, right? Like I said, you got to be open to like new energy, right? No matter where it happens. And I think I was flying to Buffalo, and I was on like I think it was like Frontier Airlines. So like it was like we were
That's what he made sure to make that a known factor.
the worst. And sorry, Frontier, if you want to sponsor this show, I'll take it all back. But so we're delayed, and it was like a 3-hour delay. And I looked at him, and he was with his buddy Nick. He's like this 6'2" Channing Tatum fucking clone. And I'm like, you guys, they're obviously going to Buffalo, and I'm like, you guys are going to Buffalo. There's a bar upstairs. Do you guys want to like go get a couple rounds of drinks and we'll just chill out? And they're like, fuck yeah, we do. And so I bought them some shots, and they bought me some shots, and I bought them a round of beers, and they bought me 2 or 3 beers because there's more of them than me. And TJ, by the way, Woodrow's friend TJ, apparently was there this whole time. I never saw him because he was
sick.
he was puking in the bathroom.
He
Yeah.
said he had a long weekend or week,
Yep.
whatever, and he said he had the bug. He couldn't drink, and I looked at him yesterday. I said that's a bad excuse to not drink.
TJ.
Yeah, so he was in a bathroom. I didn't even know he existed, right? So for 3 hours of drinking, I had no idea this guy existed. And we just, we're talking about Angola, we're talking about Buffalo, and we're vibing, and we're becoming friends, And we go we're trying to walk onto the airplane, and they try to immediately kick us out. They're like, you guys cannot come on here. And I'm like, what do you mean we can't come on here? I mean, and then they're like, look at him. And and I turn around and look at Woody, and he's just like doing that like
The Woody
swipe. By the way, he did the same thing and got me kicked out of 500 Pearl. He did the same thing, So anyway, we were like, it's touch and go whether or not they're gonna let us on the fucking late Frontier airline flight to Buffalo. And eventually they let us on, and we're like sitting in the very back of the plane, and and they start like shouting. They're just like saying dumb stuff, and like they had to get shushed by the airline workers, and I look over at them, and this is like 2 minutes after they just got shushed down. They're both asleep with their heads on the seats. and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm pretty buzzed too, and I'm like, sleep sounds like a great idea. So I went to bed, right in the corner. And I wake up, we've landed, and I look over at Woody, and he's like, man, that went quick. I was like, yeah, I fell asleep for like 1 minute, and we're here. And he's like, do you want to go to the Old Pink?
Dude, which mind you, if you are not from Buffalo, the Old Pink compared to the airport is not like it's right next to the airport.
No, we had to go to Allen.
Drive, like.
Yeah. And it was a Tuesday, and our flight landed at 1 a.m. So I go.
So wait, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Who offered to go to the Pink?
Woody said we could go to Allen, and I go, well, what's open? It's 1 a.m. He goes, the Old Pink, and I go, let's go to the Old Pink. And so I went and got my rental, which I probably shouldn't have been driving. Somehow they gave it to me.
But hey, here we are.
And we went to the Old Pink with another dude we met from fucking like Pennsylvania who just happened to be in town, and his old lady was driving at 1 a.m. to come pick him up from Pennsylvania, and he ended up getting kicked out of the Old Pink.
Really?
There's only 11 people in there. It was a Tuesday.
Did he ditch his old lady, or
I
what?
think she came in and was mad at him because he was so hammered, and they started fighting.
That would make sense.
Yeah. But like Woody and I were just like doing shots, and then in true Woody fashion, I look over and he's gone. Just
Woody
disappeared.
just leaves?
He doesn't say goodbye, nothing, just gone.
Just leaves.
It's like 3:57.
Fucking wood.
and I'm like, oh, it's closing in 3 minutes. I'm gonna go to bed now. So I stumbled over to my place, and that was that.
He told
And that
me,
we've been friends ever since.
Exactly. Woody told me the story.
I think my snap streak with him is like something like 96 days.
Because Woody told me this story yesterday, and he's like, yo, that was fucking crazy. And TJ's like, that was crazy. He's like, I had to fucking shit and puke. I had to fucking stomach bug, this and that. He's like, I'm trying to tell them all. They're all screaming, hooting and hollering on the plane. I'm like, she's like, apparently the flight attendant walked up to TJ like, are you with like them? And TJ's like, yeah. He's like, you gotta calm them down, or else we're gonna kick them off. Because apparently they already kicked two girls that were with them.
Yeah, they did. They did kick him off.
And he's like, all right, I'll get control. But like, I knew you were gonna have a good time with that story because
that's funny.
He knows TJ, and he knows Woody, and he knows how they.
Yeah.
Get. But
I did not expect the Old Pink.
No, because then when he told me that, he's like, yeah. After we went to the Pink, and I'm just like thinking to myself yesterday, I'm like, dude, that is nowhere close to the airport. Like, yeah, I could imagine if you were to say like go to
Tiffany's.
the 365 or Tiffany or any strip club. I can imagine a bar near the airport. But you want to go? Hey, you guys want to go to Allen? It's funny. That's good. That's classic. That's exactly how he told it, and I love every second.
Yeah, he's such a good dude too, and like like I said, you just let people's energy in, and like they enhance your life in mysterious ways.
Exactly.
The Woodrow way. In this case.
Woodrow way is a different way.
Yeah.
Woody is a.
I feel like every time I see Woody, he's so happy.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. He's always happy.
Yeah.
No matter what.
If
He's
Woody's,
so positive.
Woody, if you're watching this, or if anybody that knows him is watching this, like, don't take this the wrong way, but I always feel like Woody is drunk because every time I'm around somebody that is that spiritual and happy, they're always drunk.
Well, wait. Woody's mostly drunk.
Woody would be proud of me saying, like, I feel like you're always drunk. Like, he'd be like, you're damn right, I'm Boozy Woody.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, no, seriously, Woody's awesome. And that was crazy because I was stalking your Instagram the one day.
I've stalked yours. I saw that you had 2 girls from Angola on here the other day. Twins? Were they twins?
They're from Olean.
Oh, okay.
Olean. So, we've had them on a couple times, actually. Yeah, they live in Miami now. They do their thing, which is good for them. That's crazy. But,
So you were stalking, and what did you come to?
And I saw Woody on your page. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I was just with Woody last night. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was with him yesterday. That's what I'm saying. I was over at
Right,
Rats.
'cause I was texting him yesterday. I'm like, yo, we're having your friend Nick on tomorrow. He's like, oh, word. Because I was at some Sunset yesterday in the evening.
I was at Sunset yesterday in the
That's what
evening.
I'm saying. So like, he's like, I think he's heading to Sunset. I'm like, I already left. And then he's like, come meet me at Rats right now for a couple. I'm like, I'll meet you for one. So I came over there.
Nice.
I stopped for a beer.
When'd you get there, after 9?
No, I got there at probably 4 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, I left Sunset at like 4 a.m.
4 a.m.?
3:30 a.m.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sick fuck.
Yeah.
You sick fuck.
I was busy.
So you turn it up? You turn it up on a regular?
All the time. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Especially when I'm here. It's like contagious in Buffalo, isn't it? Like it's like good people, good vibes, and when that sun comes out here, they fucking appreciate it.
When that sun comes out,
yeah,
the booze comes out. Well, fuck it. If it's fucking cloudy and we're at a tailgate, it's snowing, the booze is still out.
If you know what porch beers are, you're from Buffalo.
If you know what porch beers are, you're from Buffalo. Facts. If you know what beers on a Monday morning is, you're from Buffalo.
Correct.
Dan hates when I go into the Bills shit, but do you
I love
go
the Bills.
to like Bills games often?
I am a ridiculous Bills fan. I caught him in London back when EJ Manuel was the fucking quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Against the
That was the worst game ever, by the way.
With the
That was
Jags
the worst. He had like 7 turnovers that game or something, and we still almost won.
Yeah.
And then they said he was out of bounds, like right at like the 2-yard line. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. But yeah, huge Bills fan. Shout out to my boy Josh Allen.
So with how?
Just kidding, I don't know him. I wish I did though. Josh, if you're watching this, call me. Invite me to your party.
Josh, hit him up.
Did you see the Farmers podcast with Josh?
We did.
So my boy who does sound on Mantis over in Florida works for like ESPN and NFL Network. He does all the sound stuff for them, like real sound guys. And so he was so he was over. He did the Farmers podcast as their sound guy, like their like boom mics and everything. And so he was sending me, low key, spoiler alert, he was sending me pictures of inside of Josh Allen's house with Josh Allen sitting there and saying, look, I'm at Josh Allen's house right now, bro, on Instagram. I don't think he was supposed to do that, but
No, you're definitely not.
no, but he was doing it for me as a favor because I'm such a Bills fan. So
Right.
That's cool.
And no, we
It's
were
not like
actually,
it went out anywhere or anything.
nah, it just went to me. It went to me and died. And you can keep it in your podcast, by the way. I signed a waiver.
You're good.
I just want to let you know I signed a waiver.
Some of you didn't. There's a
You need an attorney? My dad's an attorney.
there's a like a certain respect factor when it comes to something like that. Like him and I, we've been in certain situations where it's like, well, him and I will send Snapchats, but like it's never gonna make the light of day.
No, it's just it's
and,
between
like,
you.
Even if I'm not exposing too much, like you and I.
Who's that one?
Like you and I have been in situations where we're with players or somebody we shouldn't take pictures of.
But you kind of grab
Him and
them.
I send Snapchats, and
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm not going to say any of us are average people, which I guess we are, but like
What?
it. No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like we're not fucking Josh Allen famous. But
No.
when it comes down to it, like, I mean, shit, you gotta flex a little bit to your friends. Like we always send him and I always send Snapchats back and forth. And
Yeah.
It's like, but it is.
But it's what you got to do. I mean, like, there's some moments in life that you just got to capture, and even if you got to break a few rules, you got to go for it.
Right.
So, you know.
No.
So what do we think about the whole like his girlfriend thing?
This is one of those things.
We know.
We'll talk. We'll talk when the cameras stop.
After the pod.
We don't want to do anything to upset QB1. QB1, we're gonna need you.
I need a time frame because I need
We're at
to cut
5:40.
that out of the pod. Hold on. Before I put that in my notes. No, yeah, we'll talk about it after. But yeah.
So you want to talk about Bills? I can talk about Bills all day.
Yeah, I was just trying to see like if you come to, because you live in Tampa full time.
I split time. Yeah.
Split time?
Yeah, I used to, but now I'm kind of like doing like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But
Okay, I was just wondering like how often do you come to Bills games like here?
yeah, pretty regularly. Yeah, I've got like my own lot that I like to go to. You know, it's got like a big like wooden carving of a buffalo, and that's my lot.
Where do you go?
I'm not gonna say because it's so awesome. I don't want people to know. It's like so perfect. And I go there with my cousins, and my entire family basically still lives here or over in Binghamton. So
Everything's kind of getting fucked this year. They're building the new stadium, right?
Yep. So
So,
what's that
like-
gonna mean for us? That's what I want to know. Like parties wise, like
That's kind of what I wanted to ask
So, like,
you
grass
where
lot.
you partied.
yeah. I'm in the
So,
grass
like-
lots. I'm in like behind somebody's house, basically.
Oh, so you over in like the Brick Road area?
Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm saying the grass lot, like where we always see Woody and TJ
we
and all
always
that.
party, like, we do all
it's a
those
big
videos.
lot.
I'll come there
we
next
always
time if
stay
it's
in
still there.
It's not there anymore now.
That's
Well,
sad.
it is, but the
I'm really
Bills
sad.
bought it
Oh.
because they're building the stadium.
On that lot.
They're building the stadium in their
they
own
just
lots.
bought it out, and the Bills.
So they're
the Bills
buying
wanna control
all
the
the. They
land.
want to control all the
Tailgating.
personal lots, yeah.
I hope it doesn't turn into like something like the fucking Miami Dolphins have. Have you ever been to a Dolphins game? It's miserable.
I haven't.
It is miserable, and I'm gonna take some of my time right now to hate on the Dolphins, and I think you'll appreciate it.
Please do it.
Yeah, so their games are terrible. I mean, it is basically whatever you could do to like sterilize football. That's what they've done over in Miami. And you go to like a tailgate, and there isn't really a tailgate. It's like some people in the parking lot around the stadium with like a grill, and they're like, "Isn't this fun?" And I'm like, no, it's not. I could do this anywhere. But if you go to Buffalo and you want to get some ketchup and mustard squirted on you and also do some shots, you can do that, and it's way more fun. Also, light yourself on fire and jump through a fucking folding table. Let's do that and rub Jello on our bodies and fucking say America.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not like tailgating Home Depot here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, like
yeah.
we're not.
Buffalo's different, bro. Buffalo's different. I've been to a few away games, and Buffalo's so much different. And the one thing that makes it different is that it's like in Orchard Park. It's not in the city.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of stadiums are just like in the city. So I'm so glad Buffalo didn't go into the city because they were thinking about it for a minute.
They basically just moved it one Indian burial ground over, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Well, don't you know about
no,
don't you know about the
he's
Indian
like-
burial ground in the middle of the parking lot in the current stadium?
I don't know about that.
There's like literally a fence and trees around it, and there.
Oh,
there's-
I've seen that.
And that's there was actually
It was
you know
literally- we're the
indigenous
only-
peoples
yeah.
are buried there, and so that's why they don't disturb it.
Yeah.
But they say that's why we were cursed for those 4 Super Bowls is because of the ghosts of the Indians, indigenous
We
people.
about to find out when we move stadium.
Right, because we're gonna win that year
Hell
and this
yeah.
year too.
And this year too, in the same stadium.
Yeah, we are. But because we've
Fuck that curse.
made the decision, the curse knows that we're good now.
Boom, we're good now. No, but I do what you're saying. You know that about like Buffalo Stadium, right? Or like Highmark. You know that, right?
What?
There's literally a graveyard that is like
I didn't know that.
fenced off. It's
It's
all right,
hidden. It's so hidden that you wouldn't know.
Grass lot is right here, right?
Yeah.
All the entrance that you go into in grass lot, like you have the whole stadium right.
You got to go out to the street though
But
first,
grass
right?
lot's here, yeah.
Yeah.
Where my white claw is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, stadium's here.
Yeah.
And it's a big old.
I think you gotta move your white claw like about 2 inches to the left. You know, just
So
to,
this is where grass lot is. Though. So we walk that way. The cemetery is right there. There's a cemetery.
So compared to the creek on the side of the
it's
grass,
near the creek. It's
Yeah.
a tiny little
It's like
cemetery.
near it, like towards
It's a
the end of
tiny
it?
Little cemetery
it's like
from
50 feet by
1800.
25 feet
Wow.
or something. Yeah, and they say that's the curse.
No, you never seen that?
No.
I'll show you TikToks after this. But yeah, like people say that's the only stadium literally with a TikTok on there, or with a fucking hell, fucking drunk.
With
With
a
the TikTok.
With
Cemetery.
The cemetery.
on their
Wow.
entrance.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like but, that, like when I found that out, I'm like, oh, that's just weird. But either way, like I'll
is
be honest
strange.
with you.
I don't believe in curses.
I don't believe in any of that shit. Like we're here, we're partying, we're drinking, we're slamming tables.
Yeah,
Let's go, Bills.
that's
You know,
right.
like, at the
Anyway,
end of the
way
day-
better than Miami in summary. Like right, like
Fuck Miami.
yeah, fuck them.
Fuck you.
The only good video I've seen in my 26 years of life from Miami was somebody had a stripper pole in the back of a truck.
That's awesome.
That is
Had a bunch of strippers on
That's
it.
fucking awesome.
now the Dolphins suck, but Miami's good for a few things.
Oh, yeah.
Miami, the
as a city,
city
as a
is
city.
great.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, fuck the Dolphins, but the city.
Yeah, there's
is
stuff going
amazing.
on. There's stuff going on there. Have you ever been to South Beach?
Been to South Beach, yeah.
I passed out in the sand of South Beach, next to a little Cuban princess when I was like 19 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm not gonna fucking say that in the air. You know what I mean? How old do you
Old
think
enough.
I am? How do you think I am?
29.
No, man. I'm
Older,
41.
Lower. 41?
Yeah, 41.
You're 41?
Yeah. That's why I wear sunglasses, so you can't see my fucking smile
No,
wrinkles.
you're fucking not.
Yeah, yes,
you're not
sir.
41.
I am. I work out a lot, though, and I eat a lot of aloe vera. I don't actually eat any aloe vera.
I'm guessing he's 41.
I'm gonna be dead by the time I'm 41. I feel like.
That's a fact.
I'm dying tomorrow, probably. I'm going to this red and white party
How
tonight.
do you do that? Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
facts,
saying.
though.
Like, you were just saying you were like up till fucking 4 a.m. or whatever. How do you do that?
So, like, I don't know what happened along the way, but I think, like, somewhere along the line, I embraced the writer lifestyle. Like, I started drinking a shit ton of scotch, and I was like, oh, scotch is like what writers would drink. And once you start there, everything's tapered back. Like, how many White Claws can I have to have, like, one scotch? You know what I mean?
Need another one,
And
So, like, are you more
oh,
of,
yeah,
like,
sure. Let's have another one.
like,
Well, let me finish this one real fast.
Do you like comedian aspects of content, or
Yeah, fuck yeah,
just
dude.
like Louis C.K. Like, that man was like a notorious,
Hilarious.
phenomenal comedian, but a notorious fucking alcoholic.
Yes, sure.
And I'm not calling you an alcoholic. but,
Well, thank goodness.
him and I.
My
him and I
mother
are
might
alcoholics.
listen to this.
I'll be honest with you. But like Louis C.K., like that man, like notoriously would get fucking hammered and write his, like, do you find it easier to write it off of, like, write your stuff, whether it's comedy or not? I'm not relating you to Louis C.K.
Sure.
But do you find it easier to do it off of buzz, or do you find
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so one of my writing heroes is Hunter S. Thompson. Do you know who Hunter S. Thompson?
Yes, yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, he killed himself, and then he had his ashes shot out of a cannon.
Fucking legend.
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 Also, he had a case of dynamite in his guest room that he put the mattress on for guests to sleep. So Johnny Depp, one of his best friends, often slept on a mattress on top of sticks of dynamite.
Awesome.
Complete alcoholic. And everything else.
Johnny Depp?
No. Well,
Or-
I don't know about Johnny, but Hunter S. Thompson for sure was.
Johnny's
And he
gotta
did a
be.
bunch of other things too, psychedelics and all this fun stuff.
For sure.
And so he's like my writing hero. And so I was like, well, if he writes, awesome stuff and he's always fucked up, maybe I'll give it a shot. And, I can't be too fucked up though, if I'm being honest. I gotta be like, there's a wheelhouse. You know how like when you play darts, if you have like 3 beers, you're in a zone.
Yeah,
But like if you have 6 beers, you can't hit the board.
I know exactly.
Right. So like writing is very similar. Like you get your
not
like
playing
2
darts
scotch
tonight.
wheelhouse, and then sometimes you go back the next day after scotch 5, and you're like, what? What the fuck was that? That's not good. I've got to delete all of that.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Just from like videos and stuff.
Yeah. So
I think I'm fine. And then you fucking watch the video back, and it's like, oh my god. You gotta learn how to control it.
before
to a
it
certain
controls
point.
you.
Exactly.
There's a balance. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a
Yeah.
distinct balance, and I'm borderlining the balance right now.
right. 3 is a wheelhouse. If you give me a 4th, I'm gonna pull a Woodrow and invite you guys to the old pink. Like, I'm going out
I don't
tonight.
wanna end up- I don't
After the
wanna
red
end
and
up
white
with
party, you guys want to meet at the old pink?
I don't want to end up pink tonight.
Nobody wants to ever end up at the pink.
No,
And
yeah.
if you own the old pink, I'm sorry to say that, but there's a time and place for
Good
it.
for you for owning the old pink. You
Correct.
fucking smash business every day of the week.
You know what? It's crazy. There was a guy that was supposedly a manager at the old pink that
For what?
called me and threatened to kill me.
What? Oh,
Threatened to
I
kill you?
need to tell you I had a hit put out on me. Do you want to hear that story?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So I met somebody, and there was this guy that was there at this place that I met this person. I've got to be some of the facts I've got to kind of
You're
gloss
good.
over.
You're good. Forget names.
But he was like a friend of their family, and it was like on vacation, like almost like a Dominican Republic type thing where you go and you're there for like a week.
Yeah.
And this guy was just like a friend of the family of this girl, and he was like super irate that like me and my buddies were kind of like hitting on these girls who were like 20 years younger than him, by the way. And
Awesome.
every night, at the end of the night, he would try to fight us, and every night he would take a swing and he'd fall down because he was drunk. And by the way, let me preface all this: they're from Buffalo. We meet them in this random country, but they're from Buffalo, this whole family. So we were like, this is crazy kismet. Like, you know what I mean? We thought we were like, this is destiny with these ladies, you know what I mean? And so every night this guy took a swing at us, and every night he would just fall down, and we'd put him to bed. We'd be like, you gotta go to bed, bro. One night when everybody's all in the pool, like it's like the 5th night they're there, he comes out with like a weapon, like a wooden board with like some nails in it, and starts like swinging it around. And I had enough, and me and my buddies put him down. Like we took the board, we gave him a little roughing up, and then we said, bro, you gotta chill. And he like went to his room, and I think he stayed there till the rest of his trip was over. Like we never saw him again. But that girl, because they're friends of the family, had heard from his girlfriend that he had put a hit out on me with the Chosen Few biker gang. And she was like, and she told me about it, and she's like, I don't know what to do. I gotta tell you, but I don't want to upset my dynamic with my friends and family. But I feel like I need to tell you because money was exchanged. And I'm like, what do you mean money was exchanged? She's like, he paid them $5,000 to put a hit out on you. And I'm like, well, thank you very much for letting me fucking know. When was that? And she's like, 2 weeks ago. I'm like, 2 fucking weeks ago? You clearly don't care about me. And also, I called the FBI, and the FBI actually looked into it and verified it, that it was true, and picked him up and for questioning. I have no idea what happened after that, but I had a hit put out on me.
Damn.
It's official.
$5,000's kind of cheap, honestly.
I know, right? Well, I think the guy just took his money and laughed at him.
Yeah.
Because I'm still here. It's been like a year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's like the most patient killer.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna walk out of the podcast and he's
I
be
mean,
like, yeah,
I mean, the Chosen Few is
because his pride was
exactly-
hurt. His pride was hurt, and that's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So I can say I had a hit put out on me officially. Bucket list.
I think that's deserving of a BotchPod clap.
Would you ever put a hit on somebody else if you had to?
God. Don't say no.
Well, hold on. I mean,
Don't incriminate yourself on the BotchPod.
Well, I've got to say, right? Like, my instinct is no.
I didn't say did he. I said
No,
would you.
Would you?
Yeah.
Either way.
My instinct is no, but like there's a lot of factors. Like something could happen. Like, what if they I don't know what if they murdered my mom?
What if he put a hit on you?
Right. We've never seen that guy again. Just saying. Just saying. Where's he now? Pop up video.
He's probably watching right now. He's probably watching this. All right. Is there anything we didn't want to touch on? We try to keep episodes a little bit shorter because of algorithm and everything.
Yeah, I feel you.
Anything we didn't touch on? You didn't touch on?
No, just we're trying
shout
to.
Out?
We're just shout outs. I think are all in place. I've got all my people. We're trying to bring television and film to Buffalo. That's like our big life mission right now. Is like this is the place where it has to happen. So if you're listening and you've got a shit ton of money, send it my way. If you give a fuck about the city.
A lot of exciting things happen in Buffalo.
Seriously.
For sure.
Buffalo's been going crazy lately. So I'm really glad that you're here. It's gonna sound really weird, but I'm really glad that you're here.
I'm here for it.
I love it. Like that you're here to experience it, and you're not like, oh, I'm from Buffalo and I'm too big to go anywhere else. No, I don't mean it like that, but
No,
I'm from Buffalo, and we are here doing something in Buffalo, and we know what's coming to Buffalo.
Yes, sir.
That's super rare. You know what I'm saying? Not many people know what's coming to Buffalo, even if we talk about on a podcast or not.
Right.
The whole movie studio coming here.
It's coming.
All of it.
Yeah.
Everything.
And every time I turn around, there's new facilities being built, and tax credits here are great. You can get 40% of your money back if you're filming.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Buffalo is gonna be huge in the next. You give us 5 years from this podcast right now, I would think we would look back at Buffalo and be like, oh my God, that shit took off.
Nobody makes a $50 million studio and facility, which they just did, without talking to all the politicians involved to make sure that the money keeps flowing, that the tax credits keep flowing, that the infrastructure is in place.
They know it's going to come.
That's right. And so look for big things from this city. I mean, they're already doing big things here all the time, but look for more big things. And
but then again, fuck this city. Look for you, bro.
Look for you guys. Look for you guys. You guys. Every time I turn around, you've got this influencer or that influencer. You've got my girl Buffalo Food Slut. Running game.
Maddie.
Shout out Maddie.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome. And anywhere she is, that's where I know that's where I need to be because she is a entrepreneur and a half.
Maddie's crazy.
She's a magnet to the attention in the city. She's a
She'll be at the
magnet.
party I'm at tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably dressed in red or white.
Fucking love it. Anything you want to shout out? Anybody want to shout
And I'm
out?
gonna give a little shout out to the BotchPod and say it was fucking a great time, and I'd like to come back if you have me, and let's do it.
Yeah, we'll run it back.
Thank you, bro.
Shortly.
Yeah, we'll link you down in the description, your Instagram, all your.
That is one of the first people who have ever shouted out, like, yo.
Probably
Botch
the
Pod.
first.
You got
BotchPod
first.
Yeah, no, you gotta pay these things forward, and that's how you develop your tribe. You're like, look, what can I do for you? That should always be your first question.
And honestly, you were a supporter of us before we even knew about you.
Correct. I was
you were-
listening. I was like, these guys are fucking funny, and like you said about if there's a good comedy in it, I'm for it. And you guys made me laugh, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to a
We
few of these.
appreciate it, man.
I'm working out listening to you guys. And I'm like, I'm getting entrepreneur advice from that one lady that was a couple weeks back, and then I'm listening to these girls from I thought they were from Angola, but that's because somebody introduced me to them as they're from Angola. I'm going to be on his boat later. He's boating me up to the party, that same guy. I'm going to call him out for giving me wrong information. Coming for you, bro.
You better watch out.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe. No, seriously, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are still watching, please hit the subscribe button. I haven't checked the analytics lately. We've been
Last time we checked.
Last time we checked was a couple weeks ago, but 92.5% of you who watch the podcast don't subscribe. But
That's
if
crazy.
You do,
That's crazy.
it's a crazy analytic, isn't it? But I haven't checked it in a while. Maybe it's changed because we said it a few times. But listen, if you're at least watching now, please just give it a like. If not, fuck off.
I think I need to subscribe. I just called everybody out, but I
You
think
need to subscribe.
I think
You need to subscribe.
We're talking
Subscriber
YouTube
helps.
here. For the listeners, we're talking YouTube here too.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But
And if you're listening on Spotify, why aren't you watching on YouTube? Like, you need to see our setup.
well, some people like it. Some people.
I know. I personally watch. Every podcast I listen to is on Spotify. But I do go to the bigger page when it's on YouTube, and I understand what their aesthetic is. Come check out our aesthetic if you're listening right now. This is your fucking call to duty.
Well,
right,
what I'll
do
say
it.
is this: you guys have beautiful looking people on your show, with the exception of myself. I have a beautiful shirt.
Oh no, we do that
But-
shit on purpose.
but-
You're
yeah.
better looking than him. I'll give you that.
You definitely better looking than both of us. I'm telling you, we do that
Too
on
kind.
purpose. We do that on purpose.
Yeah. You understand what sells.
You gotta get clicks.
That's right.
Like, comment, subscribe, or else you're a...
Big fat pussy bitch.